It's that time. I'm excited. Are you excited? My name is Sean Shapiro. This is Ask a Traffic Cop. I am a former traffic guy. I used to work for the Toronto Police Service. Then I retired from policing so I could sit here on studio and talk to you about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. So if you've got questions, I've got answers. That's how this works. We're going to get into it. What did we talk about last time? We talked about all sorts of stuff. What are we going to talk about this time? Whatever you ask me, because that's how this works. Good morning, Neha. I see you there. Neha is a friend to the show, met at Humber College when she was going through the law and security course, and she's now in security and tunes into the show all sorts of times, but she was working obviously overnight because she says I'm up super early, which is a rarity. Let's see what's going on. Let's see who's in the room. We've got CTT 1505, 911 TPS. Jess, what's going on? We never got our selfie, Jess. G Viggy, what's going on, brother? Creator Steve is in the room as our driving instructor. He has been on our show before, not on our show today, but we should have you back on the show because we had a lot of fun talking about traffic safety. He's a driving instructor just north of the city and was doing really well on social media, and I assume still is. Good to see you, my friend. Marshall Alex, Peter John William, Michelle Zam, Bush Outdoors Canada. We're talking about friends that do different things, and I like to give shout outs to people who do cool stuff. Bush Outdoors sells marathon watches, and he's a good guy. He's a military guy, TTC guy, and a watch guy. So shout out to him. Daniel Harper, how you doing? Good to see you. I got a cool coin when I was at the show. I never really talked about challenge coins on the show, but maybe I should be. Let's see. Thin White Line Interceptor sends waves, and that is Ryan, who's a driver of things who also takes amazing photos of law enforcement. And let's see what we got here. We got Rosa Chica says, did I get that right? It's Chica or Sika? I don't know how to. I'm assuming pronunciations of usernames, and I don't always get it right. Rosa says, let's talk about the beard. I just put some beard oil in it. Is it glistening differently than normal? We've got, let's see. Oh, yes. Neha says, 'tis the season of the retirement beard. And that's exactly what this is. People say, what's going on with the beard? I'm like, I don't have to shave because I no longer have to meet, uniform requirements. Because there's rules within the Toronto Police Service and every police service. It makes sense. There's rules for how you present yourself. And one of the things that I always had to do was maintain a beard no longer than an inch. I think that was the rule. So I did. And now I don't have to. So I'm experimenting. This is the longest my beard has ever been. Now, I've thought about going to see somebody about some beard grooming stuff. Like I've never had anybody trim the beard because the beard's never been worthy of trimming, just electric shaver or trimmer. But now I think I need to go to a professional. I got to get this thing under control. In fact, Mike Harrison of the Toronto Police Association was saying, I got a guy in Barrie. And you know what? I tried to get a hold of a guy in Barrie, and the guy in Barrie isn't up when I'm up, or at least he's not working when I'm there, or he's really booked up weeks in advance. They have an online thing. So I think I should go there. I think I should videotape it and share with the world my first time going and getting my beard done. I don't know. I don't know if this is going ZZ Top or what. Anyway, this is a show where I answer your traffic and police questions. It's a show that you can ask someone who has intimate knowledge of the Highway Traffic Act of the province of Ontario and driving safety stuff the world over. So if you've got questions, I'm here for you. I just noticed that, you can't actually see it, but I've got stickers in the back of my laptop, and one of them is for the Military Veterans Wellness Program. Shout out to my buddy who's involved with that, my buddies who are involved with that. They're doing amazing things. They've taken that program, internationally. They were just in, what's it called? Drawing a blank. They were just over there. Yes. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, G. Vicky says, it's a good idea to get the beard done. I have a guy in Burlington. That's a hell of a drive. But then again, Barrie is a drive too. Okay. Let's get into, there was a couple of things I wanted to talk. Okay. I made a post, which is going to become an article on X this morning. And I was talking about time travel. Well, I was really talking about making time. So here's the deal. You have time available to you. It's how you spend it that determines your day. So if you are rushed and running late and worried about looking bad, that is likely because you have poor time management. And that echoes or cascades into other issues. When we speed, is it speeding because they like to go faster? Is it speeding to try and get somewhere sooner because you didn't leave on time and you want to avoid getting in trouble at work, or, getting upset with you, or your spouse getting upset with you, or, what did you do but it's something you did that caused the situation that trickles into I got to go fast. You want to go fast, go fast on a track. That's totally acceptable. But when it comes to going fast because you're in a rush, that means you done messed up, friend. It means you didn't leave the 5 minutes early, and now you're under the gun, and now you're messing with the laws of the road and the universe. Because if you speed up, it takes longer to slow down. You have less time to respond, and you know what? That's something that shouldn't be. It's a stress situation. It's also known as a silent killer. But it's stress is bad. You give up that time, you never get it back. You know, when we were in the motor squad, we talk about space, giving up space and not getting it back. But time's a bigger thing. Any Whovians out there? We can talk about time all day long. My brother just jumped in. Ryan, what's happening? Okay, let's get back into some actual questions about stuff and things that's relevant beyond that of my going on about time and space. Wait, I could do time and space. Is this the modulated voice for time and space? I don't know. I'm working on a voice filter for a cartoon character I'm voicing. Okay. Is it a crime to drive with my hood unlatched? My hood won't shut at all. So it flops up in the air, like it's not connected in any way, shape, or form. That's a safety concern. If you cannot secure your hood, and it could become something that blocks your vision, that's an unsafe vehicle as far as I'm concerned. I wouldn't let you drive away with that. If it's just that you can't get it to lock to the secondary lock, it's just in the up position, but it still has a safety latch in, that spring latch, I think you're okay to get to the mechanic and fix it. This is not a way to drive permanently. But if you've got a double system for safety and now you're down to a single system, there's no redundancy. That secondary spring latch is not only to protect people from breaking in, if it's to protect from people. Sorry, it's protect. Try again. It's to protect you if the first latch fails and it springs up. It also, but the main one that locks is to protect people from or prevent people from getting into your engine. Boy, this is the hardest thing to talk about for some reason. Anyway, I'm not aware of a specific law that says thus thou must latch thy hood. However, it is a situation of safety if that were to become dislodged and flip up, which we saw recently. I posted a video talking about this where a guy's hood was totally up and he was just looking through the little half moon space where the windshield where the windshield washer fluid sprays from. Like, it was not safe. If you are watching on TikTok, please do me a solid. Please tap the screen until your fingers go numb. I want to help more people come to the party, and the more likes that you bring, that helps it do just that. The more likes, the more people find out about the show. It's a thing. So yeah, tap that screen. Oh, I should probably log into my other account here so I can help moderate myself. Stand by. Oh, I'm way over the wrong window. I'm still recovering from Auto Show. Auto Show was amazing, and I love it. I love the Auto Show. I cannot get over how much pain I'm in from the Auto Show, and I wasn't even there full time like so many people that I worked with were. So they must be suffering way more than I am. Either way, did you go to the Auto Show? And if so, what did you think, and what was your favorite element of the Auto Show? Also going to put 44 minutes and 55 seconds on the clock. We're gonna have some stuff and things. We're gonna do 45 minutes of Q&A. I forgot to start the timer at the beginning of the show because I'm working on new processes here. Okay. Let's do. We got. Oh, by the way, I saw. I think Sean sent a gift. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate it. I got a diamond. I don't know if I didn't see the animation. Unfortunately, I'm not looking at the TikTok display now. I am because I've opened it up, but I missed it when it happened. Anyway, let's keep on moving. Park U wants to know, how tall are you? I am 6'5". That is how tall I am. Oh, let's see here. We got a bunch of stuff that came in from X. Johnny Nguyen says, good morning, Sean. How are you enjoying retirement? It is far from actual retirement in that I am busier than ever. And but I am enjoying the fact that I can be with my family every morning and every evening, and I'm not on shift work, and I'm not driving 3 hours a day to get to the office. So there's a lot of benefits, but I miss terribly my friends and Blue Family downtown and at traffic services. And I miss the fact that it's weird. I went through a transformation of being transformed into a former cop from being a cop. And even though I wasn't on the road and even though I wasn't responding to calls, it's part of my identity. So it's weird to no longer have that. Former cop doesn't have the same ring to it. In any case, I am enjoying life, and that's what's important. I'm doing the stuff that I need to do, which is important to me. And it should be important to you too. There's more to life than work. Although I am doing new work, which is launching the Canadian Organization for Better Traffic Safety and Education, which is ultimately hosting what I'm doing. And thanks to the support of Barrett Legal and Barrett Tax Law, we are doing this. M says VOC. Or actually, they think it says YOC, like the school, and this is VOC for voiceover cop. Voiceover cop even has my glasses there. Voiceover cop. It's my hat. Paul says, good morning, Sean. Thanks for being you. Well, thank you, Paul. I appreciate you and the acknowledgement of me being me. I appreciate it. Thank you. Nicholas Rizzi, whom I met in person finally at the auto show. It was great chatting with you there, and we've continued the conversation here. Let's see here. I am front row seats at a Blue Jays game with my 6-year-old. I'm distracted by the hot dog vendor guy. I look at my 6-year-old, and he manages to sneak on the field. As a cop, what would you do? Do you tackle a 6-year-old? Does my son and I both get arrested? Do we both get banned from the Skydome, or does my 6-year-old get a stern talking to about the rules? Nicholas Rizzi, king of interesting questions. We should get you a hat that says that. So here's the deal. If a child walked onto the field because you were busy getting distracted by hot dogs, we could talk about the distraction factor of hot dogs later. However, how did that child get past all of the security? No, I don't think anyone would be arrested. I don't think there'd be a stern talking to. I think that discussing things with the security guards that all failed all the way down until your son made it to the field, they're the ones that need to be, discussing employment options. Kayla says, greetings and salutations, and will be posting his dad jokes in a few minutes. Much appreciated, because we do like dad jokes here. So when the show is done, in the last 10 minutes, we'll read dad jokes. If you share them, I will post them. That's what happens. And Brandon says, good morning, Sean, and all from the Culinary Institute of America, doing a class so I can't stay. Have fun, y'all rock. Brandon is a chef and driver and so many different things. We need to have a conversation. I need to know what's going on. You might need to be a guest on my podcast, which we're planning to. I say we, but it's me. I want to launch shortly. Again, relaunch. Let's see here. Connor says, why isn't the city towing drivers who block street cars? Why? Oh, punctuation matters. Why isn't the city towing drivers who block streetcars? I thought this was a tow truck question. They should. It's just a matter of identifying them and then moving them. So, I saw a video recently where a vehicle had parked in front of a streetcar track, and then I think a number of people pushed the car into the snow so the streetcar could clear. To the heroes who did that, I commend you. I've got, right to me, identify yourself as one of the streetcar pushers, and I'll send you some stickers. But the deal is that that's unacceptable. Parking enforcement, if they were aware of it, would have had it towed immediately. And then it may have just been a situation where a tow wasn't available. Maybe they called and they were waiting for someone to show up. And until they show up, there's not much they can do. I think that anyone who parks where they should be towed. I think that people need to be towed more. I know that's not a popular opinion. But who the heck are you to drop your car off in the middle of somewhere and mess with other people's ability to move around? All right. Neha says, so how legal is it to drive without your bumper put together to drive with your bumper put together with zip ties? It's since being repaired, but she'd like to know. If your bumper cover, if the mechanical or the structural system that makes up the bumper that absorbs impact is functional and is there and will work as a bumper is intended to for safety purposes, that's cool. If it's just a bumper cover that came off, that doesn't provide any shock absorption benefit. It makes it look nice. So if you have a bumper, it's okay. If you have no bumper, like truly no bumper, it's that's something you probably aren't holding on with zip ties. But tell me more. I want to see pictures. That sounds interesting. Mike says, if a contractor takes roughly $60,000 from me, what criminal charges can be laid? So hang on. They took $60,000 when you were not paying attention. They signed a contract and you gave a deposit saying that they were going to do work and never did. These are contract problems. If it was fraud and they're not even contractors, there's different things that it could be, and I need to know more. And I should say I'm a traffic cop, or was a traffic cop, And I've never dealt with those type of investigations, but I do have a general knowledge of what we're talking about. So yeah, feel free to share more, and we can talk about that. Kane Blade 2049 says, "You've been to space." The Final Frontier, yes. Okay. Connor, we talked about that. Do a boat trailer require insurance? Fun fact, boats don't even need insurance to be on the road. When you're towing a trailer, the insurance for your vehicle covers the trailer. You could cover it for theft in addition, but when you're driving with a trailer, it's my understanding that the vehicle is covered for, or the trailer is covered by the vehicle's insurance. Okay. Kane Blade says, "Is it illegal to put your vehicle in cruise, climb out of the window, slide through the passenger window?" Yeah, that's going to be. There's a specific charge for not being in the driver's seat while operating a motor vehicle. You know, there's the concept of where you jump out and you do a stupid dance while TikTok is filming. That's one way to get that ticket for stunt driving, but what you've described is clearly stunt driving as well. I got a bunch of dad jokes. By the way, we're on a bunch of channels. Not only are we streaming on TikTok, which is why we are, getting all this great interaction, because there's tons of people there. But by the way, you could still like it more and share it more. It would really be helpful. And you should be following it if you're new to the channel, because my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a former police officer who talks about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. But if you're talking about why are we horizontal on TikTok, it's because we're also on YouTube, we're also on Instagram, we're also on LinkedIn, on X. So if you're on any of those platforms, please give us a shout out, say hello, engage, because you can ask questions and then we answer them. And if you're on YouTube, LinkedIn, or X, we can actually put your question on the screen. If you're on Instagram or TikTok, it's currently not working with the interface, but I'm told they're working on it. All right. Oh, we have another question. I'll leave this question for later. It's from Nicholas, and it is a wonderful question, I'm sure. However, it is not traffic related, so we'll come back to it. Okay. Oh, user lots of numbers says, "Man, I could not even recognize you for a second after while seeing you from live." Do you mean because of this enormous beard and the lack of uniform, or in a different background? And I mean, there's a lot of things going on here. Luckily, my voice is the same, and so many people recognize me based on my. In fact, I was talking to a family. There was a gentleman with his kids at the show, and we're talking, and his son's face just lit up at one point. "It's you," he said, and he didn't recognize me at first, but. I'm also a lot bigger than I am on screen. Like, I'm 6'5" and a big dude. So people get thrown off, and it takes a second to click. But I was looking in the mirror this morning as I was adding some beard oil and massaging the experience to make sure that I replenish those essential oils, because I'm learning stuff and things about stuff and things. And I thought, do I keep the beard? Do I shave it? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Keep the beard or shave it? I can't decide. Generally speaking, my wife likes it, so I'm kind of motivated to keep it. We'll see. I'm always interested in the comments, and of course, Chris Blackman says, "Beard suits you." Well, thank you. I've had a beard for many, many years, but this is quite a beard. This is much, much longer than I've ever had in my life. Yes, very different. All right. Paulo, what's going on? We got a question. If a stunt driving racing charge gets dropped, I'm assuming dropped, to a speeding charge, why does it stay on a driver's abstract still? So the stunt driving racing, the conviction would be registered in the appropriate charge. However, the suspension based on what you did stays on. And let me explain why. The administrative penalty for stunt racing was because it was accurate. You got charged, and you had the consequences for what you did. The deal you made out in your plea bargain with the with the prosecutor was simply to reduce the consequences from there. So instead of having a $2,000 to $10,000 fine, instead of having up to 6 months in jail, instead of having a 1 to 3 year driving prohibition for your first offense, you merely have your initial administrative penalties, which don't disappear; they're forever, and you have whatever you pled down to. But you still did what you did. You were not found not guilty. You just negotiated a lighter sentencing. So yeah, it doesn't go anywhere. They can't undo the past. So you did what you did. and the consequences are forever there. And Paulo says, keep the beard, it suits you. Liz, what's going on, Liz? Good to see you. The question from Liz is, if my muffler is damaged, noisy, might I be charged if I'm pulled over, but I show proof that the replacement is coming in 2 days? So you are guilty for unnecessary noise or an improper muffler at the time that you're pulled over, regardless of your good intentions to repair it. That is the truth. However, at having that piece of paper that says your parts are coming in on Tuesday might motivate a police officer to use discretion, which is really what we're all talking about. It's all about discretion. Not every police interaction has to result in charges. Sometimes it's an educational experience where someone gets pulled over, is notified of an issue, takes responsibility for that issue, or shows that they've already taken responsibility and action in the situation like you've described. And then we chalk it up to have a nice day. And that is a wonderful way for the day or the experience to conclude. Sometimes people who, in your situation where you've got a problem and you've set to resolve it, don't do what you suggested and instead say, well, why are you just wasting my time and wasting, just coming here to get your quota on? And that situation would likely result in a ticket. It's all about how you treat people. And how you treat people will generally depict or determine how you are treated in return. Respect is an easy one. Politeness, respect, goes very, very far in policing. Not suggesting that people have to salute police, but they have to at least be cordial. It's a good word, cordial. Okay. By the way, Liz, awesome question. I'm clipping this one to make a video because I think it was good. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Any tips on how to join the force? That's from Rishab. Yeah, you know what? I got lots of things that we can talk about when it comes to joining the force. Instead of the force be with you, you be with the force is I could turn that into something. Okay, tps.ca/careers. We're going to talk about this briefly, and then we're going to come back to some traffic and police questions, but it's always a great opportunity to chat. Yeah, here we go. Careers. Share. Boom. Okay, I can make this. Let's make this full screen. All right. If you go to tps.ca/careers, you will get to the Toronto Police recruiting page, which is where I think you should start your journey. I, first of all, am very biased and will tell you that the Toronto Police is the best police service in the world, in the planet, possibly the galaxy, since someone asked me if I'd been to outer space earlier. If you're looking to join the Toronto Police as a police constable, that's fantastic, and you can get all the information about that role and the responsibilities that it entails. They're here. You can even press the apply now button, upload, and start creating your file. It doesn't mean that you have to immediately submit that application, but you can start building the application. And then once you've done that and you're ready to apply, actually submit it. But you can upload your resume even before you get your certificates. You can start the process. Know the stuff that's here. Use your opportunity to, before you've submitted that, before you even get to start uploading, learn about the police service you want to join. Find out what the requirements are, but learn about the whole thing. Learn about the community that you're going to be expected to police. If you want to work in the city of Toronto, learn about the city of Toronto. Now, if you want to work somewhere else, find out about the police service that you're interested in joining, because that's the way to do it. Now, police constable is not the only way to join the police service. You can become a special constable, what used to be called a court officer and now has expanded responsibilities. You can find out all about that job here. They have special constables, court. I guess are they court officer, special constable? The thing is, they're all cross-trained in different areas, but certain people are working in courthouses like I used to when I started as a court officer. But they have officers who are out on the road assisting police with canvassing and prisoner movement and so many things, as well as bookers that are within police stations. And I believe that the bookers are special constables, because they used to be court officers that were deployed there. I don't know if they made us read about it on the line. That's what you do. Read about it there, because they know more than me. Things have changed. Parking enforcement officer, another great way to serve your city and help the city keep moving. If it wasn't for parking enforcement officers, no one would be getting anywhere, and certainly not fast. Communication operators, I believe that they currently have openings available. I know that Jess was at the auto show talking to people who might be interested in answering the call. I mean, quite literally, they're the people that take 911 calls and then dispatch police officers. There's two sides of it. It's a very difficult job. Not only is it challenging in terms of having to manage so much information, it's stressful, and it's competitive to get in, and it's competitive to stay in. I was shocked to find out how involved the hiring process was. And we got here, stand by. Curious about something? Interesting. Okay. And then we've got auxiliary if you're looking for a great volunteer opportunity. And that's how I actually started. I originally started in May of 2000 as an auxiliary constable. By November of 2000, I was being sworn in as a special constable or court officer, and that started my career. So that was all 2000. Now, civilian roles is another way to serve, but this time not necessarily in uniform. Now, parking enforcement is currently taking applications. That's awesome. Senior advisor, audit and quality assurance. Say that 7 times fast. So they're hiring for that job. Analyst, strategy, and governance. As for the Toronto Police Services Board, that's what TPSB is. Intermediate technical analyst in repair services. No idea what that job is. Looks like it's infrastructure radio, if I just keep reading. And then, of course, what I mentioned earlier, communications operator. Check these all the time that we hire mechanics, service people, like tech people for support in our IT department. There are a ton of opportunities if you're interested in them. But let's talk more about you. Because if you're not talking about employment opportunities, you're probably here for the traffic advice. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a former police officer who talks about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff all the time, regardless of whether I'm here online with you or just having coffee with friends. It seems to be the topic of conversation all day, every day, because I'm that guy. Now, if you want more advice, more customized advice, you want to ask me tips on how you specifically can join, feel free to reach out. You can get me at voiceovercop@gmail.com, or you can go to trafficcop.ca and submit a form request to talk to me. It's not that I charge money for it. I don't. It's just that there's a form that will send an email, and it's easy. Okay. Abdul wants to know, hey, officer, what's the buffer limit over a certain speed limit on the highway as well as normal road? So they asked 3 times, so it must be important. The question really is, how much can you speed before you get pulled over? I'm translating for you since you were avoiding being direct. Buffer limit, what is that? The deal is that you cannot legally speed at all. Now, whether an individual officer pulls you over for 1 kilometer, 10 kilometers, or 20 kilometers is up to the individual officer. There is nobody in the world, or in the station, I should say, that's going to say, don't pull people over for breaking the law unless it's a lot of law that they're breaking. No. The police officer would be well within their rights to pull them over for any speed over the posted speed limit. The reality of it is that if you're doing 10 over and there's somebody doing 15 over, we're going to pull over the person doing 15 over. It's just because that's how we're wired. We're going to go for the big stuff, because if we did everybody for the small stuff, we'd never get to the big stuff. So we're holding out usually for faster speeds. That doesn't mean ignoring everything that happens. It just means, okay, I'm here. I haven't done anything in 5 minutes. Oh, there's someone who's speeding. And you're the next contestant on the ticket has your name on it. Okay. OGX65 says, stopping for school buses on a 4-lane road with or without median, what traffic stops? Median or division of highway? And there's a big deal. There's a big difference. A median at the intersection is different than a median that runs the entire length of the road. If your road is divided, like the 401, which is a highway that's divided, only you can't pass the vehicle. So, but oncoming traffic doesn't have to stop because it's on a different road going a different direction. A median that's only in the area, or a grassy knoll that's only in a small parkette area, doesn't necessarily change the definition from divided to undivided. But generally speaking, if there is a divided highway, you can't pass the bus. If it's an undivided highway, all traffic on that road, north and south, east or west, whatever the direction is in the opposing direction of that school bus, would have to stop. Same thing for police, same thing for ambulance. It's not the same, but it's the same. You know what I'm saying? The deal is that, once a child is going to be debusing, getting off the bus, it has to be safe for them to move in the direction they're going to. And it's for the safety of all. So all stop, either direction. Was that clear, or was that not clear? Because I'm not sure if that was clear. Let's come back to it. Ask me if you need more on that. We'll happily discuss it. Akela says, in relation to the beard question, happy wife, happy life. This is a very good piece of advice. Okay, Nicholas had another question that I said I would get back to, and that question is, an asteroid is heading for Earth and will destroy everything. What day does police service become non-existent and everyone is SOL? Um, that is a question that I don't know. I've never taken a training course on what happens to do on the pre and post delivery of asteroids crashing to the Earth. Don't know. Don't want to speculate. Don't know. That's like not a good topic. I mean, it's an interesting question, but not one I want to venture to get into because when we're all SOL, we're all SOL. Okay. Paul says keep the beard. Kind of looks like the Barrett Legal. Really? It looks like the logo. Very interesting. How? Okay. I'll have to tell Dale Barrett, the principal lawyer there, that his logo looks like my beard. That'll be interesting. Randy McNaught says once again, Sean, welcome to Wednesday. All the best from the Forest City. Good to see you, Randy. Okay. Now we're going to we'll come back to it more from Nicholas Rizzi in a moment. Let's see here. I like that he gets his questions in and he turns his phone over and keeps on plugging away at work. Let's see here. We got Chris who likes we talked about that already. We talked about this. Caneblade says security guards are commonly organized crime dealing using company vehicles. That's an interesting allegation. I don't know if if commonly would be an appropriate word to use for that. I mean, I could see that somebody could be a criminal wearing a uniform, but to suggest that most security guards are somehow organized crime and specifically in the drug dealing business seems to be a stretch. I don't know. I'm gonna call BS on you. I'm sure you've seen someone who is dirty, just like there's dirty cops and dirty politicians and dirty doctors and then there's dirty dancing. There's dirty everything. But yeah. Okay. Bernhard's got a dad joke. We're gonna put it in the box for later. And cutting and pasting. One day we will have a producer again. We're working on getting a budget that will allow us to hire a producer, which will change the face of the show. Help matters. Okay. LeBron James or Michael Jordan? Like, who's cooler? I don't even know who LeBron James. I mean, I've heard the name, but I don't know. I'm a Michael Jordan fan because he made shoes or inspired shoes, and I grew up in a time where he was making cartoons with Disney. Not exactly, but you know what I mean. I just don't know who LeBron James is as a person. Jen says, voice is recognizable. Thank you very much. I have heard that. We've got here, the Emperor Moose. I don't know how to use your name. Okay, but they followed me, and thank you for the follow. Yeah, please do like and subscribe, share the live. Tap that screen till your finger goes numb. It does help the likes, or it does rise, makes more likes, makes more people come by advertising the show within the algorithm. Okay, we've got here, my son enjoyed meeting you at the car show. He took a pic with you. Awesome. Based on your username, I do not know who you are. Alone, I would need to know more. But I met so many amazing people at the show who watch me here and have guys came up and said, I got my G1 because of you. I had a couple of gentlemen I mentioned in the last show. They said, we manage a fleet of vehicles and our drivers, are being educated based on, they've used the videos I've created to create training for their drivers. It's amazing. And by the way, anyone who wants to do that, feel free. The videos are posted for your benefit. If you repurpose them, like share them with your staff, it's great. It is great. We got here. Would a vehicle be insured if the owner that it's, let's try this again. Would a vehicle be insured if the owner that is insured on the vehicle gives you access to drive the vehicle on a one-off situation? That's from CK26519. And here's the deal. In Ontario, you insure vehicles. Those vehicles are insured as long as any driver who is licensed for that class of vehicle is operating it with permission, of course. Now, that only has one caveat. If you have an agreement with your insurance company that you will not loan it to anybody else, then your insurance could become void if you break that policy. However, police officers pulling somebody over would not be aware of that particular agreement within your contract. They would simply check the status of the vehicle to be insured or not, and they would check the licensing status of the driver. So if the driver was licensed for that vehicle and it was insured, that would suffice for the purposes of a vehicle stop by police. If that person was driving and got into a collision, and you then try to make a claim saying that you would like to have that vehicle repaired using your insurance, well, the insurance company would then try and figure out who was driving, not just try and figure out, they would want to know who was driving. And if that person was excluded by age or some kind of contractual obligation that you entered into and violated, well, then they could deny your claim. Now, the liability portion would be covered, but they wouldn't repair your car. They would deny your benefits and your likely the driver's benefits. It's hard to believe this is like the first or second time I'm taking a sip of water this whole time. Really? Okay. I hope that answers your question. One other thing I will say, that if you are loaning a friend who does not live with you your car once, or it's an occasional or once in a while thing. Occasional is a funny word. We'll come back to that. If you loan someone a car, it's insured. That's no problem. If you're going to make a habit out of it, you should get them listed as an occasional driver. And because it changes how many kilometers, like there's different, again, in the contract, what they will consider permissible and not permissible. Now, if you are living with somebody, you're living with your parents and you want to use their car, insurance companies are really sticky about the fact that if they live in the same household, they should be on the insurance policy. And again, they could deny you. Yeah, I think we're good. And CK says, thanks for the answer. Well, you're very welcome. That's what I'm here for. My whole goal is to give answers and help people, and I love doing it. So thank you for joining me here and asking the questions. Okay. Kane says, keep it. It's giving wisdom. I think they meant keep it up, which I will absolutely do. MTK899 says, why do policemen press charges instead when citizens say they are making a lawsuit? Huh? Why do policemen press charges instead when citizens say they are making a lawsuit? You have to give me more, MTK. I don't know what the heck you're talking about. We press charges when we have charges that should be pressed. So if police officers attend something, evaluate that there is a crime that has taken place, we hold the people responsible by laying charges and then put them before the court. If someone's making a lawsuit, that is a personal lawsuit and not a criminal situation, so they're different. But if you want to give me more, I'm happy to talk about it. What can I do to fight a camera ticket? You got a ticket for having a camera? I'm sure you mean red light camera or speeding. And that's from Cote School, I think is what we pronounce that. Anyway, the deal is that if you have a ticket for breaking the law, and that's a camera ticket, you can take it to court. You would have to be able to provide proof that you did not do what it alleged you do. You did. Yeah. So if you don't have proof, if you can't suggest that you weren't doing it and convince the justice of the peace that you were in fact, or you are in fact innocent, you're going to have a problem because they have photographic evidence of the vehicle in question doing the thing that they said it did. I will tell you this, there are no demerit points because it's not written against your license. It's an owner responsibility charge, which means you as the owner of the vehicle receive a monetary fine, but there's no impact to your insurance or your license. What you really should do is change your behavior or prevent people from with bad driving habits from driving your vehicle if it wasn't you who was driving. That's a thing. Okay. Let's see here. Is passing on a solid line in Saskatchewan on my record for life? So generally speaking, and I don't know how the province of Saskatchewan does this, but if you in Ontario get a ticket and you're convicted, there is a long form and a short form of your driver's abstract. Police and government can see the entire life of your record from the day you were first entered, whether it be when you got a license or first time you were stopped and charged with a traffic act offense, which could be prior to getting a license. So that is there for life on the life of your file. However, insurance companies don't see it after 3 years. I'm assuming it's going to be the same in Saskatchewan as it is in Ontario, but it's a 3-year lifespan of being available for insurance companies to see. Foreigner says, wait, so he's not a cop anymore? That's why it says on the screen, former police officer. I left at the end of August 2024, so I'm approaching the 6-month mark that I ceased to be a police officer. I am now a former police officer who talks about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. And if you're not already following, you should. Beast from the East says, what is this? He says, look at you, bro. Leave the force and let yourself go. Ha ha, I like it. I didn't let myself go. I just let my beard grow. It's different. What are your thoughts on fix-it tickets? Interesting. fix-it tickets aren't things. They aren't a thing in Ontario. So a fix-it ticket is a ticket that says fix it, and if you fix it and prove that you fixed it, we'll remove it. When you chose to do the thing you did, you broke the law. The ticket should be issued. If the courts wish to remove or withdraw a charge based on you having repaired and resolved it, that's up to the courts. In jurisdictions in the States, they very often have fix-it tickets where if you have an exhaust and you fix it, they take back the ticket. I don't know if that's good or not. Like at the end of the day, the good thing is, and may even be better, being a fix-it ticket because I get to inspect that vehicle and ensure that it was in fact done, as opposed to you telling them and showing a fake PDF that you did it and then they withdraw the ticket. So I'm in the while having this conversation, I've actually just changed my mind. I think fix-it tickets have a future, but maybe not in the city of Toronto where we're so busy. I don't think we can afford the time to inspect all the vehicles. Like if someone stops 10, 15 cars a day, and then on one Friday, 150 people show up to say, fix it. I fixed it, and I want you to fix my ticket. That would be, we'd have to hire like double our police service or have a private company do the inspections. I'm fixing my fix-it ticket opinion back to my original, which is I don't think there's time for it. We're just too big. So it may be good for some places. I don't think it's good for big cities. Okay. Thank you, P. Daddy, for having that interesting conversation where I just went back and forth and I've settled on, yeah, I don't like it. Let's see here. Did you have a favorite donut shop? Dunkin', Starbucks, Dutch Bros. So that's from Traveling Hubby. The deal is that I like caffeine, so coffee wherever I can get it. I'm not that picky. But in terms of donut shops, I'm not a big donut person, despite the belief that cops are automatically donut people. Raspberry Krispy Kreme must be my favorite. I really do think it is my favorite. But it is not something I yearn for or need. Now, funny story, at the auto show, the fine sergeant brought his donut collection, fresh donuts every day, his donut collection, to the show just to be nice. And it was compliments of the boss who was supporting his troops by sending coffee and donuts, and it was very kind to them. But somebody came by and was taking pictures of the 2 boxes of donuts. It was only, 24 donuts, I think. Was it big boxes? They weren't that big. No, it wasn't the giant donut box of yesteryear. It was 2 small boxes. So maybe it was a dozen donuts. Anyway, he took a picture of it. And I said, this isn't a normal thing, we're not donut people. And he said, yeah, sure. I have the proof. He took the picture. It was very funny. Let's see. So yeah, just to answer in terms of favorites, it was a raspberry filled Krispy Kreme donut. The only thing I would actually like, I'd pull over if I see one now because they don't exist anywhere. Maybe when traveling in the States. Eric says, do we need any post-secondary? To become a police officer in the province of Ontario, you need a grade 12 education, an Ontario secondary school diploma, but there's nothing else that you need. That being said, it's a competitive process, and the more education you have, the better you look on paper. But is it something you're required for the job? Does a university degree make you a better cop? I'd argue that it may not make you a good cop at all. It's one thing if you have street smarts, you get hired and then you get your degree later. But if you came out of school and you have no real life experience, you've never spoken to people, you've just read books, I think that may actually be a disservice. I think you might be academically brilliant and not be able to diffuse a situation and make your life miserable. But that everything is depends, because there are some wonderful academics who have a lot of real world experience despite having had their nose in a book. You can figure out which one I am. Buck Fank says, I'm on the Barrett Legal website right now. I wish you were here on the website to help me. So Buck Fanks, and I'll give a shout out to him. His company allows companies to put live streams onto websites. So if I hit live, it automatically would place my live stream on the website. And he was actually suggesting that donors and supporters of the of Ask a Traffic Cop should opt to do that on their websites, and maybe they should. But we'll see. Right now, there's so many options, and he also allows live agents to be on websites to answer your questions. So let's say you went to Apple's website and you wanted to talk to somebody, you would just start talking to someone, and they'd be right there live. Pretty cool. Anyway, let's see here. Liz following up on Fix It Tickets saying my example was about damaged muffler, and I told proactive measures before I could be pulled over. Not 100%. No shade to you, Liz. You did the right thing. I just thought it was a really good example. Niagara Murray says, looking good, brother. Great info. Thanks, Niagara Murray. And then just a shout out to FM Promotions, who and Body by Jeff. Body by Jeff jumped in. FM Promotions, they came in at the same time. But really, I'm talking to FM Promotions, and they made the coolest jacket for me that I wore at the auto show. If you, I have to wear it next time so I can show it to you. But I actually got this logo put on the left chest of a jacket. I had a QR code on my left arm, and it said voiceover cop on my right chest. And it looked awesome. I got many, many compliments, and it was because of the awesome work that FM Promotions did for me before the show. Thanks again. Okay. Cooper Quinn says, hey, I just finished off OACP, and I'm sending out resumes right now. I have Coburg, OPP, and Durham. Is there information that can get me an advantage, languages or whatnot? So here's what I can tell you. By the way, South Beach, I want warmer weather. I want to go to South Beach. I want to go to Florida. I want to go to Disney. Need to go on a trip. I almost went to Guatemala this week. That's a different story. Okay. So questions about getting a leg up on the application process. Volunteer, not because you need to fill a checkbox. Volunteer because you want to serve the community that you one day want to be paid to serve. Volunteer. Keep doing that. That's the number one thing you could do is be an active volunteer in your community. I think that's a glowing thing. Now, of course, language courses are good. Everything that makes you a better applicant on paper is good. But I think the difference between doing things to simply, like, you're doing it now because you're ready to apply. The problem is you're doing it now, and dates matter. So when they look at the application, they see, oh, you're doing all sorts of magical stuff a week before you put your application in. You kind of want to be doing it for a while. So it doesn't look as though you're doing it just to get a leg up, be hired. Okay. Charles says, my son drove from Ottawa to Mississauga to study, and he took the 407. He got a $70 plus charge from Ottawa to Mississauga. That seems cheap. Only $70. You can, depending on what time of day, you can look and actually calculate how much that is. Like I think it's like $25 from Toronto to the airport. So $70 to Ottawa seems really cheap. And Bernhard giving some advice regarding application process, and says volunteering helps keep up with your physical fitness 100%. You need to not only pass the test to get in and get an offer. Once you are in, you need to maintain that physical ability so you can pass to graduate. Very good point. Joe says, why can't plow drivers use blue lights anymore? Plow drivers can use blue lights if they're under contract from a municipality. It is a specific writing of the HTA. So if you are just Bob's, plow service, you can't use a blue light unless you're contracted by the city or municipality you're working on. Yeah, I don't know why that's a thing, but it's a thing. You can have amber lights, you just can't have blue. So, okay, I see the dialogue here. It helps if you put the letter Q before the question, so I know it's a question and not dialogue, because Cooper, Quinn, and Eric are having conversations about application process right now. Okay. Hammerheat? Says, or Harmoheat. I have an AMG and it makes pops and bangs. It's stock. Can a cop pull me over and give me a ticket? Yeah. Pops and bangs that are unnecessary noise, if they're unreasonable, like there's a difference between a snap, crackle, pop, Rice Krispies kind of thing occasionally, but if you're it all depends. Unnecessary noise. We know that one that's obnoxious isn't stock. It is modified or is malfunctioning or has been tuned. And one that it makes the occasional snap, crackle, pop is not a big deal. And could they give you a ticket? Yes. Could you articulate that in court and defend yourself? Most likely. If every car coming off the factory that's been approved to sell here is making that sound, well, then you'd have an argument in your defense. But if yours is shooting flames 6 inches behind your car and the pops and kabooms, that's from a horribly mismanaged system, and someone's made it sound worse because they think it sounds cool. Hope that answers your question. Okay. Oh my goodness, someone can get an 11. Cooper Quinn can get to an 11 on the beep test. You're not human. I don't know how you can do that. Well, a whole bunch of stuff just scrolled in. Stand by. By the way, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a former police officer who talks about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. So if you've got questions, this is the place to get it. I go live Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m., although I'm talking about doing some evening stuff when it allows. It doesn't always allow, but I'm working on it. I generally do 45 minutes of Q&A within the 1 hour show, although as much as I say only 45, I tend to go way longer. So if you don't get your question answered here, know that you can go to trafficcop.ca. That is a website with links to all of my socials. If you can't stay for the whole thing, know that you can go and watch the archive on YouTube. You can also listen to the podcast on your favorite podcasting app because we are available on all the major podcast platforms. We're hosted on what used to be called Anchor, which is now Spotify for creators, and it puts it out on all the majors. So we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on iHeartRadio, we're on all of them. And you can synchronize it to your phone and take it to your CarPlay and drive listening to it without breaking the law or burning your data. Okay. Scrolling. A bunch of people followed. Thank you very much for the follow. Okay. A lot of places don't require. Okay, we're scrolling down. Lots of dialogue. Pets riding in the back of a pickup truck. Do they need a kennel? They need to be secured. It would be an insecure load if you had and possibly a cruelty situation if you had a pickup truck bed with a dog just walking around in it. And just putting a leash on them isn't good enough in my opinion because you're putting them at risk. They could jump out. They could be hanging off the side, dragging. It could be a real mess. Years ago, it wasn't a big deal. It is absolutely a big deal now. Kennel would be the way to go, and that kennel should be secured to the bed of the truck, whether it be by rated straps or bolted down. That would be the way to go. Okay, you can think about it. You roll your vehicle over. There's a chance they'll survive in the kennel. There's no chance they'll survive if they're thrown from the back or if they're rolled around. And it's a bad day. Bad day at the office. And you may actually like your dog. I would like mine. Okay. Andrew English says, I made it. I'm going to put you on the screen just because you made it. All right. So I will say this: the back of the pickup truck, depending on the temperature outside, could be good. But I'd want to have my my pup on the inside of the vehicle where it's temperature controlled, regardless of winter or summer. Now, in the summer, obviously inside could be very, very dangerous. You don't want to leave your dog, kennel or otherwise, just not inside the vehicle. Okay. What is this? Oh, Northern Liberty Matt, who appears to have some major issues, says that I'd be better suited for a country like China or Russia where they hate freedom and public trust. So what is his solution to traffic laws? He claims to use fake plates on the 407 because he's a criminal. Oh. Okay, so he's also sorry, I'll have to deal with this person just because they're also going into a whole race thing, and they're obviously people with problems, and that's okay. You know, we got lots of time for people right up until we ban them, so we'll just remove them from the live stream, and we'll say goodbye. I'm sure they'll create a new account and be back anyway, but you know what? At least I feel satisfied that we've taken measures. And I see that the logo has changed, which means we've run out of time, but we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going a little longer. And Better Traffic, if you have questions, bettertraffic.ca is the organization that I've created to help police agencies and communities around Canada deliver better traffic safety education. The goal is to make it better, and that's why we're working with great partners like Barrett Legal and so many new sponsors that are currently working with us to onboard and support us in our mission to make roads safer, educate drivers, pedestrians, and cyclists, like all road users, to make their day safer. Because at the end of the day, it's about getting home safely. We want you to go and come back every day safely. Apparently, my wife is moderating and already removed the Northern Liberty Matt fun dude from our stream because I went to do it. I wanted the satisfaction of blocking them, but they're gone already. Maybe they have, well, I was going to say gone already sounds like something else. Okay. When I got my license, Illegal to do a U-turn. Now every light there's a U-turn. Is this new? That's from Carrie Ann. So U-turns, I've never been aware of U-turns as illegal. I've been there. It's illegal in some situations. So oddly enough, or not oddly enough, at very basic, if it's unsafe to do, it's not legal, because the stipulation of the Highway Traffic Act is it's only safe. It's only legal to do where it can be done safely. If you have a sign, it's being deemed safe, because it's either got an advanced light, but you're still responsible. Anybody who's turning is responsible for their movement. Now, if you're talking about U-turns, obviously, so no sign prohibiting. Then there's places where it's always prohibited: bridge, viaduct, tunnel, crest of grade, curve where there's no visibility, or railway tracks. Those are places you can never do the U-turns. But I'm not a big fan of them. I'll do them where on a road where there's nobody around, because there's no one to hit you. But we've lost officers due to U-turns where they've done the U-turn or somebody else has done the U-turn, and we had one where an officer was responding to a call and someone did a U-turn in front of them, and the officers didn't make it. At least one of the officers. It was very sad. Excuse me. Okay. Let's see one more thing. Oh, I got a ton of stuff that came in. Barry says, "Hey, Sean, great show as always." Thank you very much, Barry. Much appreciated. Why can't private contractors in the snow? We talked about that already, Joe. Do police in Ontario need a warrant to look under the hood of a car? No, you don't need a warrant to look under the hood of the car, because doing an inspection, a mechanical inspection, although they're not mechanics, they're entitled to do an inspection. And if you fail to consent to that inspection, you're going to get a charge for it. It's not a search warrant thing. It's I'm inspecting your vehicle to make sure it's compliant with the law. And it's a regulated vehicle. So, yeah, they have the right to say, we're checking underneath, we're checking here, pop the hood, we want to see what's going on. Are they searching for drugs and guns? No. If they found it during the search, would that be okay? Yeah. If they wanted to look in your trunk, that's a different story. Or that's not a mechanical inspection. That's not looking at the engine. Maybe they want to see if you have a valve. What is it called? It's a valve. I can't think of what it's called. Turbo valve? Turbo dump valve, maybe, possibly, could be. So Doggone Matt 11 says, "Hi, I searched a doppelganger site and your face came up. This is really interesting. Nice to see you helping people. Great job." So one second, are you my doppelganger? Is that what you're telling me, or what's the story? I need to know more. Okay, one second. I got to make a note, because now I got to search your account to find out if we are in fact twinsies. That's very funny. Where's paper? My notepad. That's Doggone Mad 11. Everyone, go check out their site, follow them, and all right. I look forward to finding my twin. I have someone slapped me in the face once and accused me of leaving their anklet at my bedside, and maybe it was because of you. So thanks for that. Yeah, someone actually thought I was someone they spent the night with, and it wasn't me. It was a very long time ago, but it still wasn't me. Okay, let's see here. MJ says, "Would a 50-year-old man ever qualify to try and become a police officer?" Yes. Well, a 52-year-old man graduated from the police college when I went through, so absolutely there are opportunities. I think you're good until you're 65. Now, some services want you for a long time, and they won't be able to justify hiring someone that's only going to put in a few years. But there's other opportunities where you absolutely could be great, and police services like Toronto, I'm sure, would give you a chance. If a 52-year-old can get through, why would they say no to a 58-year-old? You got a lot that you can offer in skills and abilities, and it all depends if you can meet the grade. I think if they denied you, that would be a heck of a problem for them. PR Jenkins 77 says, "Good morning from Burlington. What's going on, Burlington? Glad you could join us." Sadly, you're joining us towards the end of the show. We've just finished an hour of live stream, but I'm happy to chat for a little while longer. Okay. Oh, Carrie Ann providing some great information regarding the fine friend who had a $70 407 bill. Apparently, the website allows you to estimate the cost of a run. So if you tell it where you're starting and where you're going, and I've actually used this, come to think of it, if you give it the address or point where you're going to enter the 407 and where you're going to get out of the 407, it'll tell you the approximate cost based on time of day, because I'm adding that to Carrie's message, because it actually, or Carrie Ann's message, my apologies for only saying half of it, it knows time of day. It used to be multiple prices. I don't know if that's still the case. Okay. Bernhard says that YRP hired a 52-year-old last year, and they believe in you. So, yes, 58, go for it. Tarek wants to know, Tarek says, any advice for someone who just got in as a cadet starting next week? Learn. Acknowledge that you know nothing at the moment and learn. And you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. That's so you can listen twice as much as you speak. That's sort of a really good piece of advice as a new recruit, especially as a cadet. Yeah, they know, and talk less, listen more. That's the big thing. And stay in shape and stay out of trouble and keep your driving record clean. Because the one thing about a cadet or an auxiliary or a special constable who has aspirations of becoming a police officer, know that everything you do now is being watched. And if you, look like someone who's late and wants to leave early and takes those extra long bathroom and lunch breaks, they're paying attention and they're judging you. And when it comes time to recommend you for hiring as a police officer or not, you made the bed, now lay on it. Okay. Let's see here. Is turning right on a red light without stopping 3 seconds, 2 seconds, or 1 second? I got it for 2. So here's the deal, Kareem. Turning right on a red light requires you to stop. Stop. Not for 3 seconds, for 2 seconds, or 1, but to stop. You must stop forward momentum. You must register a stop. Once you've stopped, you've rocked forward and back to equalize that you're no longer in motion, then you can proceed when it's safe to do so. Now, you've said turning right on the red light without stopping means you didn't stop, means you ran the red light, which means you are guilty of failing to stop for red light. Is that clear? Well, so many people, I watch it day in, day out, everywhere. I record it on my dash cam. I think it's hilarious. People run the red light and they go, but it's a red light. But I'm turning right. It's okay. No, I don't know why anyone believes that turning right on a red light doesn't require stopping. K24 says, hey, Sean, greetings on this beautiful day. Is it beautiful? I went outside. It was not miserable, but was it beautiful? Every day we're upright is beautiful. Thanks very much. Right back at you. Cold Laker says, hello, Sean, my favorite warrior. Have an awesome Indigenous Day. Thank you, Cold Laker. Good to see you. I was scrolling through this morning when I was doing a couple of things, and thank you for going live and chatting with people. I couldn't stop to say hello, but it was nice to see you as I scrolled by. Caden's back with questions. Yesterday, I posted an excerpt from Monday's, actually, it was Monday. I think it was Monday I posted the video. Anyway, Caden had put up a video saying, asking a question, and I answered it, and then it became a clip. And thanks for Caden. Sorry, I noticed, by the way, that the auto captions used a C rather than a K. Oddly enough, voice dictation, when I was doing the description, got your name right. So I try and avoid typing. I try and get things moving quickly. And voice, and what's it called? Siri helps a lot. They have another question, and Caden says, if I wanted to wrap my car to look like a police car, but it said Donut Police with no lights, would it be illegal? So saying the word police, if it was done in a way that was comical, I don't think would be a violation. Donut Police, I don't think would be a violation. Could it be confusing to the public? Could it end up getting you shot when someone misunderstands you for the real police? I'm going to say it's a really bad idea, but would there be a law that you're violating if you're not actually pretending to be the police? Because impersonation is one thing. Are you impersonating the police when you're putting a giant donut logo on your door? No. But to a bad guy who just, robbed someone and is running away, and you roll up on scene, just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time and catch around, bad idea. Bad idea. Okay. How many people are you allowed to have in your car if you're only a G2 driver? Well, Joshua, it depends on the time of day, because if you are and how long you've had your license. So if you're in the first year of being a G2 driver, you're limited to having one person under the age of 20 in your motor vehicle between the hours of midnight and 5 a.m. If it's in the second 6-month period after you got your G2, then you're allowed to have up to 3 people in your car under the age of 20 between midnight and 5 a.m. unless they are members of your immediate family, at which point you are not limited to anything but the number of seatbelts in your vehicle. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, PR Jenkins has a question. Quick question with a handicap placard. If I'm dropping someone at the hospital, am I allowed to park in the handicap spot as long as I'm dropping off the person and picking them up? The answer is absolutely not, unless you are the person who has the placard issued to them. So if I am the person parking or driving, but I am not the person who had that issued to, I'm an able-bodied person, I cannot park in that spot unless the person who has the handicap or the accessibility issue is in the vehicle at the time. Perfect example is that a friend of mine owns a restaurant downtown and has a son who's bound to a wheelchair or is wheelchair bound. He dropped them off with his wife. He dropped his son off with his wife at the front of the Eaton Center, and then went and proceeded to park in a wheelchair accessible spot. They lost the placard. They were confronted, and the placard was seized because that person driving, my friend, was his son's placard. So, yeah, the answer is no. Person must be in the motor vehicle when you are parking. Simply Harjeet joined and asked, why is that in America on red? Why is that in America on red? You can't take a right on a red light in Toronto. Simply Harjeet, I think you may have misunderstood what I was saying. In the province of Ontario, you can make a right turn on a red light after coming to a complete stop and then proceeding when it's safe to do so. But you can't run the right. You can't run the red while making a right, which is what happens when the person was saying they didn't stop. Or didn't, because, yeah, the red light camera will catch you. And so will a police officer if they see you. There are different rules in different areas. Like you go to province of Quebec. Quebec allows right turn on red, but not in as a sign as you enter Montreal and says not here. You can't make right turns on reds here. And there's discussion about getting rid of right turns on red in Toronto because it's unsafe. It really does lead to more problems with pedestrians. Now, pedestrians also run into problems with pedestrians because they never let people cross the road because they're so busy walking in front of cars. But that's a different story. Okay. Scrolling back. The Stoned Biker says, as a cop recruit is a license suspension and immediate disqualification. The Stoned Biker, are you applying to become a police officer with the username The Stoned Biker? You can't have more than 6 demerit points, for the city of Toronto. Police, I don't know if other police services use the same standard or not, but it makes sense that if you can't follow the law, then how are you expected to enforce it? So if you have a tremendously bad or horrific, what's another way of if your record sucks, then you are probably going to have a difficult time articulating why. Now, if you did dumb stuff as a kid and now you're an adult and you've had a clean record for 5 years and you say, I was an asshat of a driver when I was a kid, but I learned from my mistakes and I've cleaned up my stuff and I haven't had a ticket in 5 years, 10 years, whatever. I think you could articulate and get through. But if you continue to drive horribly and it's like last year you got a stunt driving charge and now you want to be a cop, good luck. I don't think you're going to make it. But you're not immediately disqualified unless, again, it was recent. Okay, Bruv says, we started an Audi group that flies our cars to Germany every 2 years to drive on the Autobahn. Bruv, that's cool. That is really cool. Did you know that if you buy I think it's an Audi, what is it, just Audi? No. It's the number of cars you can buy that are German. You can ask for delivery in Germany, where you fly out to the factory, you drive it in Germany, and then when you get to your next, whatever planned destination, they fly the car for you home. So apparently that's a thing. And I was talking to my buddy Brian Max about it. Brian, Makse. Check him out on YouTube. He reviews cars. He owns a race team. He races cars. Amazing stuff. Suzanne Bradley and other letters that got cut off says, oh my God, your beard has grown. It does do that. It's gotten a little crazy. I was just discussing my beard earlier in the show. It's Suzanne Bradley Ward who says hello warrior. Sorry, that's Code Laker who says hello warrior to Suzanne. What is this? Can I drive a motorcycle without insurance? No, not legally. It's a motor vehicle, requires license, ownership, and insurance. Okay. I'm glad that Joshua Maloney said, no, you are not allowed, because Joshua is correct. Fresh Prince of Something says, it's illegal to change the kilometers on my car even if I don't going to sell it. you can't modify your odometer. Yeah, it's fraud. Like if you roll it back, is it technically illegal to modify that? Wow, that's an interesting question. If I'm never gonna sell it, can I do what I want with it? You're not necessarily breaking the law. Well, is it a road? Hang on, let's look this up. Let's looky. Now I want to know because I'm sure there's something that's specific to touching it, regardless of whether you do anything with it. It sounds so bad. Odometer. Not having an odometer is $110. Defective odometer is $110. But it doesn't talk about the fraud of modifying it. Those are charges that are there. Oh, this is rabbit hole time. Apologies. This is I'm not apologizing for it. This is who I am. I need to find out. Let's see here. To modify an odometer in Ontario. Let's see what we can find. Yes, it's illegal to modify, tamper with, or roll back an odometer in Ontario, Canada, under the Consumer Protection Act of 2002, Section 17. It's a violation to alter, disconnect, or tamper with an odometer with the intent to mislead or purchase about the actual mileage. So if that's not your intent, is it against the law? Additionally, under the HTA, it is an offense to knowingly provide false information about the vehicle mileage. But you very specifically said it's not to sell. I think you might have something there. As long as you never sell it, though. Does that mean you're now forever doing it? Now, how about this? Let's say your dashboard gets damaged. You have to replace it. It now says 0. What if you buy a new engine and it now has 0 kilometers, but your odometer is like, there's so many what ifs. But it looks like you're onto something if you're not going to sell it. I don't see an issue, or if it's not documented and clearly thing. But why? But why? Why would you do it? I mean, other than the discussion of just because. Well, why? Okay. Bruv says most NOS kits are in the trunk, though. What was that in relation to? So NOS kits can be installed, but you cannot drive in Ontario with an active NOS kit. So in other words, you can have a tank attached that's empty, or you can have a system in place with no tank, but you cannot have a full tank and be on the road. Cannot be deployable. Now, interesting. So there's some dialogue here about. So one person said, yes, it is illegal to modify or roll the odometer, and Fresh Prince comes back and says, but not to sell it. So again, it's very interesting dialogue. So it looks like they've worked it out that they're not doing it. But why would you do it? I want to drive a car that always says 0. I want to feel like it's new. I have a 1975 car; it's still new. The problem is, if you do it, and even if you don't sell it, but then someone inherits it when you drop it off the face of the planet, and then they sell it, now they've committed an offense. Well, they didn't knowingly. Anyway, it's very interesting. Orthodox Paul says when you renew your license, you need to provide the actual kilometers. So what if you do give the right kilometers? So interesting. Does getting a ticket in York Regional 19, what is this? Does getting a ticket in York Regional 19 over give you 3 demerit points? It's 3 demerit points if you're 16 over. So yeah, you're still at 19 over. You're still 3 demerit points. Yes. Richie Mars says, hello, Sean. We miss you, Sean. I'm right here. Why are you missing me? But thank you. Brad says, hey, we met you the other day at the car show. You are awesome. Well, thank you very much, Brad. I appreciate you in the comments. Thanks for tuning in. Okay. Scrolling through a whole bunch of stuff. I see a whole bunch of stuff that popped into Instagram. What do we have here? Okay. I've had my license since 1985, and my license to drive since 88. Okay. That's good. Because I put the comment at the title of this thing saying, do you even have a license? So yes, you do. If you were suspended, would you be able to be a police officer? You have to be legally able to drive. So if you have a suspension active, no. I mean, for the application process, if you were a police officer who had their license suspended, you would not be able to drive, but you wouldn't lose your job because of the suspension. Pierre Jenkins says, won't you run into problems with your insurance company if you change your client? It's amazing how much conversation we've had about this, because I don't know why anyone would modify it unless it was to defraud somebody, like to sell it for more money. So yeah, you shouldn't do that. Oh, very cool. Slims, I don't know how to say your username. One of your former colleagues, Sergeant Kelly, performed as Santa Claus at a Christmas party I used to host at West Scarborough Boys and Girls. I think I found my new Santa Claus. That's funny. I've thought about it. I almost bought the outfit, actually. Not a word of a lie. Liz says, when I renew my plate, I don't specify the kilometers of my car. Also, my mechanic likes to see the kilometers when changing my oil. Yeah, there's all sorts of reasons why. Yeah, it's such a out of left field question, but I've had fun going down the rabbit hole, and now we're not going to talk about this again, because I think I've covered it. It's done. Andrew English claims, as I say, it's done, but Andrew English says it's probably to cheat on his warranty. It's got to be something fraudulent if you're doing it, because why else would you do it? It's not for looks. All right. Does installing blue and purple lights on a car give me any impersonation? Well, you can't have blue. Blue is a restricted color. So is red. Purple is it's not anywhere in the HD that I'm aware of, but it's being used by funeral homes for escorts. But it doesn't give you any authority. But it's not specifically illegal, although I wouldn't do it either. Okay. Oh, interesting. Coaster Mix says it's about insurance. What do we got here? Bernhard talking about points with Orthodox Pulse. Points stay on for 2 years from the date of offense. Convictions stay on the record for 3 years from the date of conviction. So if it takes you 2 years to get to court and you get a ticket that comes with demerit points, it's been 2 years. You would never see demerit points on your license. All right. Someone's sending me an address. Why? I don't know. Do you have to stop for school buses on medians with openings for turning? If it's not a divided highway, you have to stop for school buses. Yes, and a median that's 6, 8, 10 feet is not a divided highway. A grassy knoll, a structure that prevents doing it. Ultimately, the 401 is a divided highway. What is the legality of tire chalk in Canada? It's chalk. It's not illegal. You mean you're trying to figure out if parking enforcement can legally chalk a tire touching your property to mark whether or not you're following the law? Yeah, they can. They're not violating the law by touching your tire. You know what you can do? You can also wipe it off, or you can move your vehicle. So you can play the game. They're allowed to chalk it, and you can wipe it off if you see so fit. Okay. Dopey says, why do cops care so much about tint and exhaust? Kind of a joke. Tint is a safety situation. Exhaust is a community situation. Both are negative. So dark tints are unsafe because people do dumb stuff. They so badly want to pick their nose in public that they tint their windows to the point where you can't see out and you can't see in. So seeing out, it's unsafe if you're obstructing the driver's view by way of using tint. You just can't see as well. And I've got an article posted on my x.com account. If you want to go check it out, it explains in detail everything I'm talking about. And then from an officer safety perspective and an enforcement perspective, you are regulated to be able to drive your car. The regulations say you have to wear a seatbelt, you can't use your phone. And if you're tinting your windows that obscure the interior of your vehicle so that I can't enforce those laws, well, now you're breaking the law by doing that. Similar to that of how a what do you call it? A laser jammer or a laser detector or a radar detector prevents you from getting caught or works to prevent you from getting caught for breaking the law. Well, it's the same thing for tinted windows. So that's not legal. When you talk about exhaust, it's making noise. Well, noise is pollution, and pollution that is noise based is impacting your community. There's people who live, work, play, sleep. They do shift work. There's babies who need to nap, and your obnoxious muffler can make that into a negative experience. Okay. Okay. Static in the 6 says, can you find my cat that went missing last year? I'm sure you mean catalytic converter, and not one that meows. But I can't find anything. I'm barely trying to find where I put my wallet. But I'm no longer a police officer, and that's no longer my problem. But I am here to educate and talk about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff in general. When are we going to do something about the new headlights that are blinding? Yeah, the LED ones, if they're misdirected, are chargeable. It's not just a matter of lights can be so bright that they can blind. It's likely a directional thing, or the super bright lights. If they're aftermarket, they should be receiving tickets. Where is your pink shirt? You know, it's funny you mentioned that, Astro Technician. Long time no see. My kids put on pink shirts today, and I didn't clue in to wear a pink shirt today. My bad. It is pink shirt day, isn't it? Yeah, had that conversation totally. I do have pink in my shirt, though. Look at that. I got pink. Hey, there you go. I got enough pink on my shirt to go around. We're doing the South Beach. It was unintentional, but I'll take it. Is it illegal to use track mode on my BMW? Go to a track and use track mode. Those modes tend to open things up, make it really noisy. I don't think it's illegal. I don't know if it's illegal. I don't think putting your vehicle into unless there's a bypass or something else, I don't think it's technically illegal. If it says it's illegal when you do it, maybe it is. But why would you? Go to a track if you want to be on a track. David says, I guess you aren't crazy about Waze, which shows where police are on the highway. No, I don't have a problem with that. It tells people where police officers are, which helps keep them safer. If I have an officer, a colleague, a friend who's on the road, and you're going to slow down to avoid hitting them, I think that's an excellent tool. If they're slowing you down because you are seeing that there is a police officer doing enforcement up ahead, and that means you slow down and drive properly, I drop police officer locations all the time. They aren't actually there, but I help to confuse the situation by adding police presence. I also, if I see enforcement, I sometimes drop a not there because I want people to get caught. Yes. Okay. Ryan Burke says, saw you at saw you on Sunday at the auto show. Ryan, how you doing? Good to see you. User name BG says, why did you retire so early? I didn't technically retire. I left way earlier than I should have. I say technically didn't retire. I didn't stop working, right? So I did that because my family needs me at home. I need to be home to take care of the fam, and family is the most important thing. And unfortunately, being far away from home every day made that very difficult. Okay. Which political party reduces police funding historically? I'll tell you, the best one is conservative in terms of supporting police. They're the law and order party. The other parties tend to be less law and order. That's the least political way I can say that. Conservative, pro-police. Others, not so much. But then you can try and figure out why the crime rate is ridiculous right now. Might be because the current party is not taking care of business. Okay. Ryan Burke was the chap who was asking me about the Toronto Police Mounted Unit. Oh, very good. Now I have the name connected to the question and the experience. Good to see you here. Okay. All Things Sports Saskatchewan says, Sean. Hey. There's nothing else there. Tim says it's also against the law to let other drive. What is it? It's also against the law to let other drivers know there's a police ahead. I'm not sure that is a law. Where is that a law? And in what province? Maybe it is where you are. I've never heard of a law that says it's illegal to what do you call it? To notify of police locations. I don't think there's a law. I think it's immoral. I think you want the police to catch the bad guys who are speeding and making the roads less safe. Just saying. Nickname and Green Stride both said, but provincially we are conservative. Yes. So provincially, we have the support of the provincial government as police. However, federally, the people who actually regulate the criminal code, not so much. Yeah, the provincial government doesn't control the enforcement. They do oversee the police, but and that's why we've got helicopters and more police, and they've subsidized police college for any applicant. That's $17,000 for the OPC that's covered by the provincial government. So the provincial government is great in the province. The conservative government is great in the province, but the big problem is the federal stuff, the criminal stuff. Okay. Oh, Tim says, I'm in Ontario, but camping in Florida for the winter. I'm wearing my South Beach shirt. I want to be in Florida too. DJ Taz says, if I'm at a stop sign and there is a light on the other street, do I have to do the light? Huh? If I'm at the stop sign and there's a light on the other street, do I have to do? What do you mean? Like you have a stop sign facing you, but the other people have a light? Well, they have to follow the light, and you have to follow the stop sign. You have to ensure it's safe to proceed before you go. But if the light's not your light, it's not your light. I'm really not understanding. What intersection is this? Can I drive a truck with air brakes if I have a G license, but the passenger next to me has a DZ? I think you need I'm going to say I think you need your Z endorsement for the brakes. They can supervise you for when you're learning, like an 18-wheeler driver can supervise someone who doesn't have the appropriate license for the truck, but the air brake portion, I think you have to have your safety. You have to double check, but I'm pretty sure that you cannot be supervised for air brakes. That you have to have your cert. Will I get a ticket for my back windshield? I can't see out of it at night properly, but days are fine. So the windows behind you, dark as you want. There's no regulation requiring you to have you don't even have to have windows. Like I just rented a truck yesterday that is a box truck. No rear windows. There's no mirror on the front of the windshield to go backwards. You don't have to have a rear window. Now, if somebody were to give you a ticket for that, the only way that would stick is if you didn't have side mirrors. So if you have a clear view to the rear of the vehicle by way of side mirrors, then the rear view mirror ticket wouldn't be appropriate, and you'd have a defense. So I don't think you need to remove it. That's the second question. Nikki Nat says, you retired from the force and went full zaddy mode, beard game on. It's an experiment. I'm not sure how I feel with it long term, but it's certainly I'm playing with it. The beard is here for a bit. Tim says he says, yes, Sean, you can do your lives in Florida and stay warm for the winter. I'm down with that. When I've gone on vacation, I've done lives from the balcony or the veranda of the hotel or condo I was in, overlooking. I'm pretty sure I have a live stream that had the fireworks going off at Disney. So yeah, I still live stream wherever I am. Absolutely. Let's see here. Panda Poppy X3 says, unmarked police cars are a cash grab. Visual presence is a deterrent. I disagree. People who break the law need to get caught. Telling them that you're there to catch them is a temporary deterrent, and they completely continue being asshats while they drive once they're out of visual range of that police car. So if you want to really change their driving, you catch them doing what they do, and then you penalize them so they can think about it next time. That's how you change behavior. Now, warnings and hugs are great, but at the end of the day, catching people is the best. And I love being in an unmarked car to catch drivers in their natural habitat doing dumb stuff behind the wheel, because if you don't catch them, they don't know that they've caught. Like, they need to know that under every rock, behind every wall, at every light, there could be someone who's ready to give them another ticket. That's why Unmarked is so good. You shouldn't be breaking the law. It shouldn't be a cat and mouse game of, I'm going to do it until I get caught. It should be, I'm an adult and I'm going to follow the law because I don't want to hurt people. So yeah, unmarked cars, not a cash grab. You choose to break the law. You deserve everything you get and more. That's it. But I love when people say stupid stuff that I get to respond to. Okay. Tim says, I've noticed more people here on cell phones in Florida compared to Ontario. I don't think it's against the law in Florida. At very least, I don't think it's against the law in every aspect. Certain places, I think Buffalo, New York, unless they've changed it, I think New York has made it where you can use your handheld device for telephone calls, but you can't text. So Florida may have a similar situation. Let's have a look at that. I'm going to double check. Okay. That was speed typing, folks. I'm so used to talking to my phone, but I can't do that right now. Okay, texting while driving is prohibited. Drivers are not allowed to manually type or enter multiple characters into a wireless communication device. You can't use a handheld device in a school and work zone. That's in designated school crossing school zones, active work zones. But the law does not apply to drivers who are reporting emergencies, receiving messages related to vehicle operation or safety, using the device for navigation, or operating on autonomous vehicle in autonomous mode. Wow. General cell phone use while making voice calls using a handheld device is not universally banned in Florida. It's prohibited in school and work zones. So you can use the phone like this, unless you're in school or work zones, and you can receive messages, and you can do what we do here in Ontario, which is the ability to call police. Very interesting. I'm glad you made that comment. DJ Taz wants to know if it's 100 kilometers an hour, what should you go? No more than 100 kilometers. That's the speed limit. That is it. That is all. Hey, listen, I'm going to do some dad jokes now, but I want to remind everybody that I go live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m., although I want to start doing some evening stuff. I did experiment with it a little bit, and I want to do more of it. And then if you don't already follow me, you should. If you're on TikTok, please throw likes this way and share the live with people. Obviously, now we're gonna shut it down very shortly, but it is good to share. It means that you endorse it. You say it's good. It helps people. You can always catch the replay on YouTube. You can also subscribe on podcast channels. You can get me on all the major podcasting platforms. If you want to find links to get that, just go over to trafficcop.ca or askatrafficcop.ca. They both work. Okay. Nicholas Rizzi wants to know this. Who would win in a Space Jam basketball game? Michael Jordan and his team of Looney Tunes, or Shaquille O'Neal and his team of Disney characters? I don't know. I gotta watch the movies again. I don't know. I will tell you this: Shaq is, I think, a reserve police officer in multiple jurisdictions. Definitely in Florida. He lived in the same building as I did when I lived in Florida, and he's a big man. Yes, he is. It's very rare that I feel short at 6'5". Okay. Okay, scrolling to make sure I flag the last. Andrew English wants to know if I meant a U-turn or three-point turn. The same effective result. Pop-off valve? I think there's another. Is it called a pop-off valve? I don't know if that's the way I've normally called it. So 5th Gen says, hey, I have a car that is stock with an exhaust and an intake. Is that illegal anywhere? I'm in Canada. Intake doesn't make it illegal. You need, cold air intake. It's just an intake. DJ Taz has had a cop pull up next to him and tell him he wasn't going fast enough. So the question earlier was, if I'm doing 100 kilometers an hour, what should I be going? That's a ridiculous cop. Stay to the right. Let the speeders do what they do in the left. You do the right thing. You can't control what other people do. Okay, scrolling just to catch up. Nicholas wants to know if he can get a refund on the 407 if he's stuck in traffic. Doesn't that suck, paying for it and still sitting, not going anywhere? I will not take the 407 if it's high traffic. I would be off at the next exit. Carl Freeman says, good morning, Sean. Good morning to you. Soon to be, if I don't get off the line soon, it's going to be good afternoon. All right. Doing dad jokes. So here's a fun fact. ZZ Tops are the guys with beards, except the drummer. He only has a mustache, but his name is Frank Beard. Come on, really? I did not know that. And I do like their songs. I do like their music. I think I have their album. At least some of them. Most epic cover album. So the one that I associate with. Where am I going here? Adding a new window. Let's see. I think this is the one that everyone knows. I'm pulling up. Yeah. So, okay. So now I know which one I own. All right. I'm going to share this quickly. Totally going down a rabbit hole here. So, the greatest hits album I totally bought. Absolutely bought it. But the one that I think is the most epic that everyone remembers is this one. Oh, mind you, nah, are they all just variations of themselves? Eliminator. I think it's Eliminator. Anyway, long story short is there's some great music there. And beards. Okay, back to business as we wrap things up. The astrologist asked her client, "What sign were you born under?" The client replied, "Private property, keep out, trespassers will be shot." Dad joke, what object is the king of the classroom? The ruler. Pretty good. Star Wars dad joke. How did director Krennic discover and recruit Galen Erso to finish the Death Star? Terrible joke read. How did director Krennic discover and recruit Galen Erso to finish the Death Star? He was outstanding in his field. You have to know way more to get that joke. I mean, it's not a bad joke. It's just that you got to know more for that one to land. And all right. Quote: "Life is my college. May I graduate well and earn some honors." That was Louisa May Alcott. Yeah, works. And here's a dad joke from Bernhard. "I hate my job. All I do is crush cans all day. It's so depressing." It's so depressing. All I do is crush cans all day. Man. All right, I like that. That was good. Okay, with that, we conclude the show. It's an hour and 37 minutes of magic. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. I'll be back on Friday for a Friday episode. And doggone mad. My apparent doppelganger says, "Dad joke." I'm putting it on screen. Hang on. Oh, here we go. My mouse Elvis just died. He was caught in a trap. Caught in a trap. Elvis joke. All right. It's been a slice. We'll see you soon. In the meantime, drive safe, drive sober, follow the law, park legally, and smile because it's so important. Smile goes a long way. Have a great day.